In the days when the judges ruled in Israel, there was no king. All the people did what was right in their own eyes. At that time there was a famine in Israel. A Jewish man named Elimelech decided to leave his hometown of Bethlehem. He took his wife Naomi and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. They left Bethlehem, trying to find food. They travelled to the nearby land of Moab and settled there to live. The Moabite people did not worship God, but their own idols. Sometime later, Elimelech died. His 2 sons grew up, and they married local Moabite women, Ruth and Orpah. When Naomi had lived in Moab for about 10 years, sadly her 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, also died. That left 3 widows, Naomi and her 2 young Moabite daughters-in-law, Ruth and Orpah. When Naomi heard that the Lord had provided food for the people back in Bethlehem, she decided to return. The 3 widows packed up their belongings. Naomi then told her 2 daughters-in-law, "Go back to your own mother's homes. May the Lord show you the same kindness you have shown to your dead husbands and to me. May God help you to find new husbands." Naomi kissed them both goodbye, and they wept aloud. "We will go back with you to your people," they replied. "No, you must return home," Naomi insisted. "You can marry again." Naomi felt embittered, and that God was against her. Orpah and Ruth wept again. Orpah kissed Naomi goodbye and returned home to her mother's house. Ruth, however, clung hold of Naomi and would not let her go. "Orpah has returned to her people and their God," said Naomi. "Go back with her." "Don't urge me to leave you," Ruth replied. "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die." When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to stay with her, they both set off on the road to Bethlehem. They arrived back in Bethlehem just as the barley harvest was beginning. Their arrival caused quite a stir. Naomi's grief and suffering had changed her appearance so much that many did not recognize her. "Can this be Naomi?" people asked. "Don't call me Naomi," she insisted. "Rather call me Mara, because God has made my life bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. The Lord has brought misfortune on me." In Bethlehem, Naomi and Ruth needed food. "Let me go into the barley fields to pick up the leftover grain," Ruth said. Under God's law, the poor were allowed to pick up grain that the harvester had left on the ground. "Go ahead, my daughter," Naomi replied. Ruth went into the fields belonging to a man named Boaz. Now Boaz was a relative of Naomi's dead husband Elimelech. Later Boaz arrived and greeted the harvesters. "The Lord be with you." The harvesters replied, "The Lord bless you." Boaz noticed Ruth collecting grain with the poor. "Who is that woman?" he asked the man in charge of the harvesting. "She is the Moabite who returned with Naomi," he answered. "She asked permission to pick up grain and has been working hard." Boaz went across to Ruth. "Stay in these fields with the women who work for me," Boaz told her. "I have told the men not to lay a hand on you. When you get thirsty, help yourself to the water jars the men have filled." Ruth bowed down before Boaz. "Why are you treating a foreigner so kindly?" she asked. "I have been told how you have cared for Naomi," Boaz answered. "May God, under whose wings you have taken refuge, richly reward you. Even though I am lower than one of your servants, you have spoken kindly to me and put me at my ease," Ruth responded. At mealtime, Boaz invited Ruth to eat with the other harvesters. "Have some bread and dip it in the wine vinegar," he said. He offered her roasted grain. Ruth ate all she wanted. When Ruth got up to continue working, Boaz gave secret orders to his men. "Let her gather among the sheaves without telling her off. Even pull out some stalks from the bundles and drop them for her to gather." Ruth busily gathered grain until the evening. Ruth threshed the barley she had gathered and took it home to Naomi. It was a large amount, 30 pounds, which is about 13 kilograms. She also brought Naomi the food left over from the meal she had had with Boaz and the harvesters. "Where did you gather grain today?" Naomi asked. "Who is the man who has been kind to you?" "Boaz," Ruth replied. "The Lord bless him," said Naomi. "He is a close relative we know as a kinsman redeemer. He has an obligation to look after a relative who is in need." From that point on, Ruth continued gathering grain in the fields belonging to Boaz. She stayed close to the other women gathering grain, knowing she would be safe. She worked hard in the barley harvest and then in the wheat harvest that followed, making sure that she and Naomi had enough food to eat.